Ezzy Spotlight offers affordable advertisement packages. Contact us today to learn more about this excellent opportunity to promote your business. Visit our website at ezzyspotlight.com or call 404-594-EZZY.
The Real Goddess is available on Amazon. Get your copy today.
No matter who does what in this town, you always see the good in them. Like,
Lady Mars Boss is here.
These bottles are going to go down to 16 ounces.
But it's about what is our potential.
Right.
And our potential, we can take it up 2 notches.
You don't come across women who feel threatened by you.
that's their problem.
Showcasing the hidden gems and more. Ezzy Spotlight. Very informative and entertaining. Gems and more. Ezzy Spotlight. Very informative and entertaining. Everyone has a story, but only the best are chosen on Ezzy Spotlight Podcast.
What's up, guys? Once again, welcome back to another edition of the Ezzy Spotlight Live podcast. And of course, guys, today we have another very special guest in the studio. She is a phenomenal lady, and she has been doing some great things behind the scenes. Now she is in the forefront, okay? So we're going to be hearing more about her here live on the Ezzy Spotlight Podcast. But first, I got to remind you guys, if you want to be a guest here on the Ezzy Spotlight Podcast, make sure you log on to the website at ezzyspotlight.com. Of course, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on all social medias. And make sure you share this stream, all right? So, ladies and gentlemen, joining me in the studio today, we have the beautiful Miss Megan Harris. Of course, she is running for Fulton County District 2 Commissioner. She is just won the primaries. So, we're celebrating here in the studio today. Round of applause to you, Megan.
Thank you.
How are you? Welcome to the Ezzy Spotlight Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me here.
You got
I'm excited.
You got a beautiful smile on your face.
Thank you. I'm geeked.
Today's a good day, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's good to see you.
Likewise.
So we starting off with this conversation on a high note because you have just done something phenomenal, which I just mentioned. You just won the primaries.
Yes.
For Commissioner of Fulton County District 2.
Yes, sir, I have.
How does that feel?
I'm very excited. It's a cornucopia
Right.
of feelings and emotions that go with it for a lot of different reasons. Namely, because this is something, if you were to ask me 10 years ago, would I see myself in this kind of position or pursuing this type of work?
Right.
Stepping up my game from just being a volunteer to a community activist and then moving from community activism, and stepping over into actually affecting with policy and pushing back and advocating in this kind of forum. This was not on my vision board.
So that's going to be my next question. What inspired you to want to get into politics?
So what I say in short is it's God's plot twist. And so what that looks like for my story is that I would say I got activated or triggered, if you will, 2016. About 2016, 2017. That is when
8 years ago.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So I've always had a hand in volunteerism in the community. Grew up in the church. We always did stuff out to help people, whether it was visiting nursing homes or participated with the United Way, Young Professional Leaders, Junior Achievement programs for several years. So that's never been foreign. That's something that my family and I believe in, and our church homes believe in as well. Giving back with your time, as well outside of just your dollars. So it snowballed where while we were watching on the news our state hitting the national news for voter suppression.
Right.
We know that that's a problem.
A scary moment here in the state.
Absolutely.
And in the county.
Right now.
Right.
Right. So all the way up to date.
Right.
And so watching that, I was like, how do we get here? How are we here still at this late a date?
Right.
So instead of shaking my head at the TV, I was like, I got to do something.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
I got to do something. And some of that is it's just natural born curiosity, because we've heard it growing up in elementary school, middle school. You hear about, the grown folks talking about it. You hear it from some of your teachers as you're matriculating through, and then college. Now you're a young adult having these conversations too. But there was like, okay, how do we change it? How do we feel like it's so stagnant?
Everyone. And to make a comparison, a lot of people see all the same things that you're talking about right now. And we refer to social media thinking it's going to make a difference, right?
Yes.
But the difference really is what you're doing.
Yes, and I will say social media played a role. So there was and this is a specific story. So there was a call to action. We had a special election, I believe it was 2017, the year after. It was the first time we had Trump in office. Right. It was 2016, so we had a special election in 2017.
The same year you were activated.
And I was activated. I was like, look at here now. Hold up. Wait a minute. And after I voted, it took me 15 minutes to vote. I live in Sandy Springs, right up there next to Sandy Springs Middle School. We don't see those type of problems, right? Okay. And when I say we, just to be more specific for some other listeners that may not be from Georgia and listening in, we're in the part of the Deep South. It's not unknown that we've had some issues here that may look a lot of different ways. So in some of our precincts, in some neighborhoods, in some zip codes, it's a little bit harder for you to go vote than it is in others.
Right.
Gotcha.
It is.
So it took me 15 minutes, and there was a call to action to help people, passing out water and snacks. Like, that's real. I remember going to Costco. It was Sean Callahan with the local Democratic Party that put out that post, and I was like, let's go. I messaged him back. I was like, look, I just voted. I got some water. I got some snacks, like some Nutri-Grain bars and stuff like that from Costco. And I was like, where do I need to go? So he dispatched me off to a couple of locations. The first one was Baptist Church off of Georgia Avenue. And sure enough, that was one of the locations where they had consolidated, I think, like maybe 3 precincts to one. Right. So that line was snaking all through the parking lot.
People were hungry.
It was sweltering. It was in the summer. It was hot.
Uh-huh.
I remember that. And so I'm passing out waters with folks, making sure, pumping people up, high energies, so saying a couple of jokes or something.
For you.
Right,
right.
Let's do this. So thereafter, I was like, is there any place else for us to go? They're like, well, there's still some folks out. I was like, where are you going? And they said Union City. And I was like, bet.
So you were just rolling.
I was rolling. I made a commitment to myself that I was going to stay out there. I wanted to see the last person in line, really. And I was in, again, curiosity, because you learn best when you touch things.
Right. And
I also know that some of those volunteers would not be going down to Union City. I know Union City. Right. I bought my first car in Union City.
Right.
But my dad stays in College Park. So I grew up on that side of town too. So I went ahead and took the track down over there. And again, that was another precinct that there had been some consolidation. So, and that line was 99.9% Black.
Wow.
And what touched me is even through that long line and seeing the frustration on people's faces, seeing people out there with their young children and, just waiting to cast their vote, to have their voice counted.
Right.
We still had this like silver lining of resiliency. I look to my left and I see a young woman on a wood pallet tap dancing. Trying
to keep the folks motivated.
To keep people motivated, a form of entertainment. You had some kids still over here playing around with each other, meeting new friends amongst themselves, passing out waters and food again, standing in line for people so they could go to the bathroom.
So did you feel a sense of entitlement, a sense of responsibility to do what you did at that time?
Yeah, I locked in. I felt it when it happened.
Right.
And that was the first time I had actually picked up my phone and started chronicling via video and posting it on Facebook. I would share news articles and things and have some opinions on my Facebook page, but that was the first time I actually showed, because I was like, people got to see it, because it's so easy. Because my neighbor was a great example. She was like, well, by the time you get down there, they're going to be done voting this, that, and the other. I'm like, but in her truth, she had never seen voter suppression.
Right.
But she has never grown up in a predominantly Black neighborhood.
Right.
So that was her truth. And I wanted to show other folks that where they say that these conversation points or topics of discussion were inflated, or it's not that bad, or all those things, those buzz and dog whistle pieces that we hear on the news and in conversation. I wanted to prove what was the reality of it.
Gotcha.
And not just the sadness of it, but also to show the spirit of that has persisted throughout time for our community to stay active no matter what, and to see that line of resiliency and that magic that still exists, and why we all should pay attention to it, because it'll grab you and bring you right on back in.
That's what I'm talking about.
So that's what happened. I made a commitment to stay there till the last vote was cast, and that did not happen till midnight. That woman stood in line for 5.5 hours.
5.5 hours.
That is not an exaggeration. And why we stayed? Because she did not deserve to come out of that precinct alone and not have anyone cheer that woman on.
There you go. Wow. Once again, guys, if you're just joining us here live in the Ezzy Spotlight studio, it is the Ezzy Spotlight podcast. We're speaking to Fulton County candidate for Commissioner of District 2.
Yep.
That is, of course, she's in the studio. And again, we took one in full strength, I should say, because she's a ball of fire, and we're going to dive into this whole initiative and all of the good stuff. But once again, if you're just joining us, guys, make sure you share the stream, share with somebody, and tell someone this is a great conversation that they want to be a part of here. Of course, I'm monitoring the chat room as well, so that way we can respond to you accordingly. Now, let's continue our conversation. Now, you did not take part in any political action before 2016, and of course you did everything you had to do then. What type of obstacles did you face once you decided that this is what you wanted to do?
So it's the proverbial doing the cannonball on the deep end. Okay,
the naysayers, right?
Oh my goodness, yes, the naysayers, the things that you just don't know,
right.
The clunkiness and bureaucracy of our system, subscribing as a candidate. Before I even did that, I became a poll worker after that experience at the polls, so I could understand clearly
the whole functionality.
I got my poll manual. Okay,
that's what I'm talking about.
I wanted, because again, that curiosity, I wanted to see what was going on underneath the hood. Well, how's this engine happen this way?
Right.
So I always try to be as prepared as possible with that, and just understanding. But yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot to take in, drinking water from a fire hose, understanding some terminology pieces, understanding the costs. The costs that are involved, the things that you have to subscribe to actually boost your outreach and improve your outreach to get in touch with voters. Because yes, I was knocking on doors. So just to share, I have run for office before. I ran for Sandy Springs council.
Okay.
City council. And that was back in 2021.
Okay.
That was my first time running for an election.
Okay. So you did before.
I did. And we had a group, we had a support group, a progressive support group that came around us, myself, and several other candidates. We were the first candidates to really turn out some numbers. We we made some history with participation with that particular election. My storyline was I had some people who knew me. I was part of the Sandy Springs Chamber.
Okay.
But as far as broadband in that kind of way, not really. So I was going from the ground up.
So you learned a lot through the process since then to now.
Yeah, knocking on doors. So, which gives most people anxiety. Out of everything, that was probably my favorite piece. I like talking to strangers. I like meeting. I don't meet one.
I remember when I first met you. You were a ball of fire too.
So I was going to was like, hey, my name is Megan Harris.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to being your next councilman. And it was, the thing is that as much anxiety that comes with that, putting yourself out there, it almost serves as an interesting diffuser. It's like,
right.
And then you get level again, because then we're just two people talking.
Right.
At the end of the day, I'm not any more special than you, and vice versa.
Right.
We're having a conversation about something that's important. We're talking about local office that's going to affect us first before anything that happens in DC happens. Right.
There you go.
But that was a part of the process, and understanding how to asking for donations, asking for money, because you get some mixed feelings around that. Like, have I contributed to campaigns before? Yes,
right.
I have. Do I like the idea, or do I teeter on a idea that we buy offices? I think in our country we do have an issue that we do need some major reform around fundraising in the political realm at the same time. Because I'm a voter too.
Right.
So it's not like I have two different brains. I'm still one person, and I'm allowed to like take both of those pieces in stride. But I also want to help affect change as much as possible and be an advocate.
And you're definitely doing that right now. Once again, guys, if you're just joining us, Miss Megan Harris here. She's live in the studio having a great conversation. Of course, she's candidate for Fulton County Commissioner District 2. And of course, we're going in on this conversation now. So let's fast forward 2024. Well, 2023, when I'm pretty sure you started then. Of course, we're in 2024 now. And we've just gone past the primaries. And you have been very successful. Round of applause. Congratulations to you on that. Yeah. Now, how does that make you feel at this stage of the game?
It makes me feel proud of myself. And it makes me feel like I'm walking in the right direction.
Absolutely.
I'm walking in the right direction.
What's the feedback do you get when you meet your fellow citizens now who voted for you?
Everyone is just as excited and geeked as I am, which, is really supportive. And I really like that. But at the same time, you're like, whoa, you're taken aback when you're at your local grocery store and someone's like, Megan, I'm like, what? And I don't shy away from it. You already know I'm going to tilt in like, what's up? What's going on?
Yes,
fam? Because everyone's fam now.
Do you feel like your personality has definitely led you to be successful in this primaries?
I do.
Because from my perspective, based on my experience dealing with you, your personality is very infectious.
Thank you.
This is real talk.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so I guess now I think there has been some realization of coming full circle with like how I'm designed. Because before, what I do in my trade, I'm a financial advisor. I talk to people and, for a living.
About monies.
Or about money. Anything gets you in your feelings is going to be some cash, okay?
Right.
So I always try to lighten the mood. I try to make those conversations digestible. Let's face it together, hold hands and open up the student loan envelope together. Let's talk about certain things, the tough conversations. I like making them easier, more approachable.
Right.
And so that I know that I do very well with that. So when I zoom out and see how God put me together, it makes sense. And it made sense to other people before it clicked with me, because the word really just the vocabulary word politician. I was like, no, never. Because what we see on TV is not me. So I'm like, of course not. Maybe something else, but not
someone else
too. Like, I'm probably the person in the background telling to like, shh, sit down.
Right.
Like, be still. I'm like, I can't. So, but it makes sense because I want to make people excited about this. I want people to have a hand in this. I want their help to educate me about things that maybe I don't know, or help sharpen me, because that's how iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely. From the ground up.
Absolutely. So now it makes sense. Like all the parts of me in this space. And I won't even lie, there was a couple of nights, look, I've been out on my back porch with a glass of wine and me and God having these conversations like, are you sure? Like real talk, like out making like, hey God, can you just tonight maybe slip me a quick dream?
Second thought questions?
Yeah, like, are you sure? Should I just be ancillary? Should I just like stand over here? Like, are you sure you want me to do this? And he's like, yes. I was like, okay, I'm in.
Because when I saw you and you told me about it, I was like, okay, really? And then you showed me the card, and I'm like, okay, this is a huge district. Didn't I say that?
Yeah.
I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah. I think by not overthinking it, for me, it helps tremendously. Because when I hear people say this is a big deal, I'm like, yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, it's not. Because it's accessible to everybody. Every American has the opportunity and the right to participate in their democracy.
Absolutely.
There should not be any barriers to us participating or being curious or trying to throw our hat into this ring. And I'm very firm with that. Even if you stumble in here or if you don't win your race or anything like that, nobody should feel like they have to go kiss a ring, they have to go through anything special or be cherry picked by somebody. That is not how our country works. And that gives us, that's what gives us our attractiveness to everybody else.
Right.
Because everybody does have this freedom. The power is with the people.
Absolutely. Once again, guys, if you're just joining us here live, Miss Megan Harris, she is in the studio. We're having this great conversation. She's a candidate for Fulton County Commissioner District 2. And of course, I want to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about your initiatives, your mission, and your vision for the commissioner's office come the general elections in 2024.
Yes.
All right?
All right.
Keep it locked, guys. We'll be right back after these messages.
EZI Spotlight offers affordable advertisement packages. Contact us today to learn more about this excellent opportunity to promote your business. Visit our website at ezispotlight.com or call 404-594-EZI.
The Real Goddess is available on Amazon. Get your copy today.
No matter who does what in this town, you always see the good in them.
Lady Mars Boss is here.
These bottles are going to go down to 16 ounces.
But it's about what is our potential.
Right.
And our potential, we can take it up 2 notches.
You don't come across women who feel threatened by you.
That's their problem.
Showcasing the hidden gems and more. EZI Spotlight. Very informative and entertaining.
Once again, guys, if you're just joining us here live on the EZI Spotlight podcast, once again, don't forget, make sure you share this video, share the stream. And of course, if you'd like to be a guest here with yours truly, or you know someone who might be interested, have them log onto the website at ezispotlight.com. That's ezispotlight.com. And make sure you follow me on all social medias as well, so you can get some of the good information that we're sharing here right now on this live. All right. So once again, Miss Megan Harris, she's here. And we're talking about some great things that are happening behind the scenes, right? Well, it's up front right now.
Right.
It's no longer behind the scenes because she already gone past the primaries.
We outside.
And and of course, the big objective, the big goal is here and is right before you now. You're in the home stretch.
Yes.
And again, I have to say congratulations to you for winning the primaries. What's next? Because the vision for your office at the end of this general elections would be a phenomenal one, I'm sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one of the major things that I'm looking forward to doing with this role is, and I'll go into my platform with this as well. So my platform is CPR, which I'm going to be the one to help resuscitate Fulton County so that we can start getting back on track and refocusing on our constituents.
Okay.
To get things done.
Right.
What that C stands for is change through collaboration. So in my world, in everyday transaction, relationships are absolutely key. And historically, what we've been experiencing as a county is that we have got to pour back into our relationship with the city of Atlanta, our relationship with negotiations for development, all the way down the list.
I think this is so important.
Yes. Absolutely, because what happens when we are not nurturing healthy relationships is that we can find ourselves in a space of stagnation. We're not getting as much, then we can turn into a bottleneck. We're not getting as much done. Our focus is not where it needs to be.
Right.
What we want to do is start helping to clean up the pathway for people to get into their resources. Right. So with that, we go into purposeful vision. So when we're looking at developing plans and looking at helping individual get in contact with resources, we want to look at the processes and systems that we have in place. Audit that. Does it work? Yes, no. Okay, what do we need to clean up?
Right.
How can we bake in some more efficiency so we have a better effectiveness outcome as well?
Right.
And streamlining these processes, because one of the common denominators you'll hear folks say is that the clunkiness, like in going through trying to just get help, whether it's healthcare services, something with our public safety departments, animal control, like we handle a lot of different things, and I'm going to get into that too after this platform piece too, because that's another important piece.
Right.
And then responsiveness to our constituents, making sure that we're heard.
Well, I mean, but you definitely hitting the nail on the head, because I've had conversations with a lot of people in your district right now, and they have the same concerns. Fortunately for me, because I know so much based on my background, I'm able to help them significantly. But a lot of people, specifically in Sandy Springs right now, they're stuck. Yeah. They're stuck by not understanding or knowing where to go because of the change between once the city became a city and the county still overlooked the city. You see what I'm saying? So I think you taking this initiative. I think the citizens going to be beneficial. Your initiative going to be very beneficial to all of the citizens in that district as well.
Yeah, so the awareness and the education about what we do is absolutely paramount because you're right, there's a lot of confusion. And honestly, I won't even lie to you, there's still a lot to figure out too because it's a weird position. What we do as with the Board of Commissioners is we hold the purse strings for the county.
Right.
For all those key services and programs. So
And
any
here, I
ancillary-
mean, you're talking about health services, transportation, social services, parks and recs, zoning, elections, housing, public safety, the whole 9 yards.
It's a lot. So when you right? So when
Right.
you really zoom out and think about it, that's like you touch these things every day.
Absolutely.
You touch these things every day, and it can get with us changing our district lines every 5 minutes. You know, that it adds to the confusion.
Right.
But there are services that we are already paying for, though, and that's the bottom line.
Right.
So we're just doing the allocations, we're setting the budgets, we're approving different things. We'll affect some policy and help streamline some pieces as well through negotiation with other relevant departments, through the
Right.
city of Land, with the water as well. We do programs with the education, but you got the Board of Education has their own thing too. So that's where I say it kind of gets
Right.
a little fuzzy, and that's
Right.
where it can get confusing. But confusion is not a dead end. We can have more education in the community, and there's been a push already with some current efforts, but I feel like we can certainly do some more with engagement. And then also when we're looking at honing in on specifically the district, North Fulton district, and let me elaborate real quick. Let me back up a hot
Which
second.
is a very wealthy district.
Yeah, no, we got some money in the backyard, right? So we do, but at the same time,
Right.
District 2, which consists of Milton, parts of Alpharetta, parts of Mountain Park, parts of Roswell Road, and parts of Sandy Springs,
Right.
have the same and experience the same issues as the rest of Fulton County when we talk about issues like housing affordability, access to services like elder care services. Why access? The thing is that if you don't know about it, how are you going to access it?
Absolutely.
When you look at the mapping of facilities, like Fulton County facilities, on just a regular Google map, it's pretty sparse when you go north of that 285
Right.
line, but that does not negate the fact that there's still needs. We have services that help mental and behavioral health issues with our youth and adults. We have career services that are still much needed up here. We still have a very diverse population. The demographic of North Fulton in those aforementioned cities that are included in District 2 are identical to the rest of Fulton County.
Right.
And people need help, and they should have access to them because they're already paying for these.
Absolutely. Once again, guys, if you're just joining us here, Miss Megan Harris, she's in the studio. Of course, she's candidate for Fulton County Commissioner District 2. And we're going into some really deep conversation here of some of the things, some of her initiatives for the general elections, why you should vote for her in 2024. It's really important because not only is she bringing some passion to this whole county, up to the district, but however, understanding the needs of the people, it is such an important thing because, again, I could relate to the daily conversations that I have. I started, what I do in Sandy Springs, and people see me every day, and they realize that my approach is simply a different one. And they feel compelled to explain to me what their concerns are to find if maybe I might have an answer. Quite fortunately, I do, but at the same time, I'm just a little man trying to make a difference. But here you are, but here you are, Megan, and I have to again congratulate you and continue to help to motivate and push you beyond the limits because of what you're talking about here on this SE Spotlight podcast. It's gonna make a big difference, not only to you and your family, but for the entire district in general. And I have to congratulate you on that as well.
Thank you.
Now, what else do we have?
So other things that we're looking forward to as we run up, because we have our election November 3rd. So what we're looking forward to is continuing further engagement and some due diligence and researches and outreach to the community to hear more personalized stories of their experiences with Fulton County, and also understanding some needs. A great case in point, while I was out canvassing, leading up to the primary, came across these two women, Christina and Janine. And this is a mother-in-law and her daughter-in-law. And while we were there, she invited us right on in. She's like, come on in here, come on in here. And we were like, okay, what's going on? So Christina is in her 80s. Mm-hmm. She's been in the same condo in Sandy Springs for over 20 years.
Right.
And some of their needs listed out were they needed some help understanding what was going on with their HOA because they have some breakdown with the condo and the servicing that's supposed to be happening seeming to be lacking, not being able to get in contact with anybody. And that's not an unusual event that we have started seeing more and more with the HOAs as bigger corporations have been buying them up or management companies have been coming in.
Right.
They didn't having to navigate that. Also, the reason why Janine had moved in with her is that we have some early onset dementia that has been happening with Miss Christina. She's 88.
Right.
And she looks great. She's the bomb.com. She was actually a psychology major. She was a trailblazing woman in her heyday.
Right.
And they had no idea about the elder care services that are already intact with Fulton County. So, and some of those things that are included with that, we have a resource called Starline, where it's a hotline. You can call in, you can ask for some help. They can help navigate you through grocery delivery programs that we already have. We have a companionship program with Georgia State University where people can just come out and sit with you for a few hours. And it's a companionship program, which is huge.
This is huge, and it's very important.
It is for our aging population. If you're an adult child with aging parents and you're still working, that's very difficult. And that's a huge asset to you to have someone just kind of come by and a different face sometimes that can be trusted, come through and just sit with your folks or just help out in any way. We also have transportation services that we offer, some light legal advisement, like to help point you in the right direction for our elder care services with the state, which is huge because we have an elder fraud problem. As well. And then also we have a senior center right there in Sandy Springs. We have the Benson Senior Center, which is a Fulton County facility.
Right. And
just a real quick shout out to my Rotary crew. I did my first grant and got the Senior Center $14,000 to support in their music therapy efforts with our community for their adult daycare. But see, knowing that, having we have an adult daycare where our folks can go, and then we have a multi-purpose complex as well. They have plays, they have game night, they have a pool with aerobics, they have ongoing exercises, art classes. It is a plethora of different things. But if you don't know, how can you plug in and use them?
And that is my biggest concern because there are you mentioned a lot of things that are very important right now for the community, but at the same time, there's no place to get the information. There is no reminder that those services are being offered. So is that something that you're going to be making it a priority to consistently put stuff maybe on social media or in the media or PSAs or on your website as to some of the benefits that the citizens can actually benefit from?
Yes. So now since we broke through this next piece, I know I've been doing it face-to-face with a lot of folks, but expounding upon it, because that's something that we see lacking. We see more advertisement maybe closer to the heart of the city and South Fulton, not so much on the North side. So we really do deserve, and it's worth the investment to do a full-on campaign in North Fulton about all of our Fulton County services.
And you're going to make a difference with that as well. Absolutely.
We have a whole directory that's multiple pages long.
Wow.
As well, that we're going to be putting on the website too, so people can see just how many, what they have connections to, how they can get connected to these resources that they're already paying for, and we should see those dollars reflected in our own backyard.
Absolutely, and of course, you are now preparing for, like I said, the general elections coming up in November 3rd, I think it is, right? And of course, donation, sponsorships, volunteers, and all the good stuff. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it because I need them. My campaign manager's like, yes.
She's in the back of saying, "Oh, praise the Lord."
Absolutely.
Before you said it, shout out to Aisha.
Yes. She's my rock, man. For sure. So, but no, that's absolutely needed. The differential between with the primaries and now being in the general election, I did a lot of my own investment with the primaries. I did have a lot of donors contribute and support me there, and I'm extremely grateful. But we'll really be putting on the gas now since we've crossed that finish line. Right. And it's like, okay, we're serious about this. We're going to need the help. I need some volunteers. I need some donations and fundraising. So that is next on the list of events and everything like that, fundraisers and outreach as well, workshops for education pieces. But so we can have a nice build and a nice campaign firing and pushing us towards that last finish line to win the seat.
Well, I'm super excited for you. Again, you see all this round of applause I'm giving you.
Yay.
No, I'm really excited for you. I can feel the passion for executing your vision and for helping the citizens of District 2 in Fulton County. I'm definitely in support of what you're doing as well. I love the fact that these people would benefit from a number of different aspects, a number of different streams and sources, because again, a lack of knowledge, a lack of information would result in what we're experiencing right now. Right. And this is part of your initiative to bring that to the forefront, let people know what is out there, how they can benefit from it, because again, it's bad.
Yeah, it's pretty serious. We have a lot of important work to do.
Absolutely,
we have a lot of, and I'm excited for it too. So it's not always Debbie Downer. We also have this wealth of opportunity in front of us too, because we have a lot of development going on. We're still a very popular city that's absorbing a lot of folks there's migrations coming from all corners.
Absolutely,
as well, and that's something that we should embrace as well. And we should be able to embrace that with the passion of our hearts and promoting our small business owners, including family-owned businesses, closely held businesses, our partnerships and so on and so forth.
I got a whole different conversation about that part too.
Okay, but that is the lifeblood of local commerce. Yes. That is the heartbeat of keeping things going. Right. That also helps with employment as well. I would love to have the bragging right to say, and wherever I am we have 100% of our graduates that matriculate through our schools. They're coming out and either going to college, or they're going to skill-based learning, or they're getting their certification, or there's an internship. We are connecting them with opportunity.
Absolutely. Once again, guys, Miss Megan Harris, she's here. Of course, she's a Fulton County commissioner candidate for District 2. Of course, make sure you log on to the website. It's on the screen right now. Megan 4, the letter 4. Yes. So Megan 4, Fulton D2, which means that District 2.
Yes.
.org. So that's Megan 4 District, Megan 4 Fulton D2.org.
Absolutely. And that's also the IG. That's also the MEGAN. That's also the
IG. Make sure you follow her. Yeah, make sure you follow her there as well. It's on the screen as well, guys. Any final words, any final thoughts you want to just mention here?
I just want to, honestly, it's an outpouring of gratitude to everybody who is standing beside me, to everyone who's been just absolutely amazing that I've met, knocking on their doors, meeting them out at different community events and all throughout the district as well. It's been wonderful. You guys give me the food to keep going. That's my food, because this is some hard work.
Right.
And even after the primary, we were just talking before we got on, like, tired. Oh my gosh. Like, my mom sent me away. She's like, I need you to get out of here. Like, I need you to go take a nap.
Right.
But I get excited with it, and because this is, I can literally feel myself on fire when I'm doing this. So I know I'm walking in the right direction. So that gives me the encouragement to keep walking this direction. And something else, irrespective of the results of the campaign, of course I want to win, but I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
Like, I'm not, and that's something that probably everyone should really know.
Right.
On either side, because even last time I didn't win the city council election, but I stepped even further. The very next day after those election results came out, I was at the next public meeting.
There you go.
I didn't stop. I got bigger. I got badder. Became more educated as well. So I'm not going anywhere. This is a major threat in my life, and I take it seriously now.
Any special thank yous?
Special thank yous definitely to my campaign manager, Miss Aisha, super dope.
Shout out to her.
I have my whole family. My neighborhood is my family, my neighbors that have been volunteers. My neighbor across the street, Miss Linda, she actually made the cookies for. We're grassroots. Like she made some sugar cookies for my campaign kickoff party that everyone desperately enjoyed. Pontoon is awesome. I've done work with them with the chamber as well as a great location, and also my mom, who has been my absolute rock, my biggest cheerleader.
Shout out to mom.
Yo, shout outs to mom. Save the best for last. And rest in peace for my brother and my father. I always keep them in my mind.
Right.
Whew.
I got you. I hear you.
As we continue to push forward, I always think about them as well.
And you know, guess what? You're putting a smile on their faces right now. You can't see it, but I'm pretty sure they're very proud of you for the things that you're doing, the work that you're putting in, and they're gonna help you get to the finish line.
Absolutely.
They're gonna be right there with you.
And my church family. Shout out to my faith partners as well. You guys have. Thank you for your prayers. They work.
Absolutely. Once again, guys, thank you for watching us here live on the Ezzy Spotlight Live podcast. Of course, my very special guest, that was Miss Megan Harris. She is a candidate for Fulton County District, Commissioner District 2. Of course, she's here in the studio. And of course, guys, don't forget, if you'd like to be a guest here with yours truly, make sure to log on to the website at ezzyspotlight.com. That's EZZY spotlight.com. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also, guys, make sure you follow me on all social medias at Ezzy Spotlight. I think you got one final word. You got something else to say?
Yes, I want to make sure that everyone gets out and votes in November. A little quick tip that a lot of folks do not know. I learned while I was a poll manager as well. When you go into to cast your vote, you are allowed to take a piece of paper in there with you with your candidates written down on it, or you can print out your sample ballot by going to my voter page through the Secretary of State's website. You cannot use this on your phone,
right,
but you can take a piece of paper. That way, you do not forget the people that you want to cast your vote for and show your support. Make sure your voice is heard.
And also, guys, do your research and make sure you put a check mark next to Megan's name.
Absolutely.
Well, Megan, I want to thank you for stopping by here live on the Ezzy Spotlight podcast. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I can feel the fire. I can feel the energy coming through. You know what I'm saying? And of course, based on your passion, I expect you to do very well. And again, it all is in the hands of the voters.
Yes.
Okay. So once again, guys, make sure you support and vote for Miss Megan Harris. Of course, she is candidate for Commissioner, Fulton County District 2. Yep. All right. Until next week, guys. See you guys next week right here with yours truly on the Ezzy Spotlight podcast. And see you soon.
No matter who does what in this town, you always see the good in them.
Lady Mars Bosch is here.
These bottles are going to go down to 16 ounces.
But it's about what is our potential.
Right.
And our potential, we can take it up 2 notches.
You don't come across women who feel threatened by you.
That's their problem.
Showcasing the hidden gems and more. Ezzy Spotlight. Very informative and entertaining.
The Real Goddess is available on Amazon. Get your copy today.